Hello everyone and welcome back to Make Your Mind. This is the second of my Saturday evening sculpture showcases. Thank you all for tuning in. If you missed the first one, wait until about the 1 minute mark and you'll be able to click the link to go check that out where I showed off the Indominus Rex from Jurassic World. But now we're going to talk about the next evolution of the Indominus line. In this case, the more tactile, smaller, faster, and frankly much more terrifying version, with a few design tweaks of my own that I've actually given to the creature itself. Because I do like the design of it, but I did just a couple of little changes. And I sincerely hope you guys enjoy it. So, without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce the second generation. Essentially the very first human militarized dinosaur. Go ahead and put a pedestal right up here so she can stand up. And let me introduce, with a couple of her sounds in the background, the IndoRaptor. Wow, she has a lot of sounds. Here she is. The small, sleek, tactile, and very striking looking IndoRaptor. Essentially what would happen if the Indominus Rex was pared down, put about half the size, just as they said in the movie. And just as Henry Wu, the original creator of the Indominus Rex, essentially helped Injen to create for military use. And they even trained this dinosaur after seeing Owen Grady. After seeing what he was able to do with the velociraptors, Injen was able to actually train this creature to in fact follow a laser and listen for the cue. Basically a high-pitched sound in a way that would indicate a target in order for it to attack. So as you can see, the IndoRaptor is very striking. And as you can see, the design changes that I basically did, all I did was change the design of the yellow, essentially. Because normally it's just little stripes that go down, but I did these sort of almost crescent moon shapes instead. And then I put a little yellow there, a little yellow on the arms and the legs, a little yellow on the end of the tail, and then of course a little streak of yellow on the top of the head. And then, of course, the eyes. Very similar to the Indominus Rex, but very different in color. Of course, you have the raptor-style slit, and there's a little bit of red in the background for the sort of membrane in between the eyes there. But as you can see, this creature is much smaller than the Indominus Rex. Has the same sort of claws, though. Very long fingers with very long claws, basically able to grab and tear at any creature that attacks it. With a very similar head structure to the Indominus as well, with these sort of indents in the nose, and of course the hairs that go down, and the hairs on the arms as well. It doesn't have quite as many of the bony plates, though. It has some, but the bony plates do go all the way down, all the way close to the end of the tip of the tail. And these markings on it, the sort of black with the yellow, is meant to be like a sort of, it's basically like a diversionary tactic. That when the creature, that at a distance, you can't really tell what direction this creature's going. It's meant to sort of, also it's meant to cut the shape, so when you see these little shapes in the darkness, you don't see the rest of the creature. And it's just one of the coolest, it's just one of the coolest designs. And it would, yeah, I also put these bony plates here. And of course, the distinctive raptor feature, the claw. The killing claw. It's inside the raptor's feet, the very inner toe. It has the long claw that is meant for cutting and digging into its prey, or into the very target. And that's one of the coolest features, I think, of the IndoRaptor, is that it's able to, basically the Injen and the U.S. military were able to train this to basically, when a target is hit with a laser, it then presses basically a kill button, which then sends an audio cue, which the raptor can hear, and then it attacks that creature, which you certainly see in the movie, which is a really cool idea. That whole ending scene is probably, for me, it's the highlight of the film. It was really, really, really good. And then, of course, the IndoRaptor does meet its swift demise, but I will not say why, in case for those of you who haven't seen the movie. So definitely go check out Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. It's an incredible film. It's really good. Like I said, it's not my favorite of the Jurassic Park films, but it's still worth a watch. And it does make me wonder, what are they going to do with the third one? I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go with it, to be honest. But man, this thing is so cool. But here's a little bit of a excerpt from the Wiki, talking about the IndoRaptor. It was called the perfect weapon for the modern age, built for combat with tactical responses more acute than any human soldier. At least that was the initial idea. The IndoRaptor, bearing a striking similar appearance to the Indominus Rex, of course, because that's basically where it's based, just made a little smaller. But its body and height are about half the size of its original predecessor, the Indominus. It sports talons that are similar to those of the Velociraptor, as you can see. And its color is primarily black with a golden yellow streaks from the base of the neck and its tail, which bears strong resemblance to Blue's metallic blue streak. It's kind of like a reverse color palette of blue, essentially. Like the Indominus Rex, the IndoRaptor possesses hands with 4 fingers and an opposable thumb with 3 main digits, as you can see. And that scene where the Indo basically goes into the bedroom after the girl, and then that long hand with those huge claws goes reaching out. That's kind of the pose that I have it in right now, where it has those long fingers. It's just so cool looking. But the shape of its head bears a resemblance to that of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. And, so the Wiki actually calls this a he. So this is actually a male dinosaur. That's interesting, because the Indominus Rex was a she, and most of the dinosaurs were actually a she. So how were they able? I wonder how they were able to make the genome male. I guess they must have given it the chromosomes necessary. That's an interesting revelation. Yes, it says, and he has a sprinkled red mark across the eye orbit. The skin around the IndoRaptor's mouth is flaky and peeling away in some areas, possibly the result of genetic instability. So this creature was actually genetically unstable. And it's because they had done so many modifications to this creature that it was imperfect. So it would have had defects such as the peeling skin and maybe other things, maybe even hyper-intelligence, who knows? I mean, it was intelligent. It had the intelligence of the raptors, but it was not quite as smart as Blue, I must say. Let's see. Its mouth was also sickly looking, with ragged teeth similar to those of the Indominus Rex. And that was the one thing. The Indominus Rex had the teeth on the outside of its mouth, not the inside, like Rexy. Because as you can see, like Rexy, the teeth are on the inside of the lip, just like that, whereas on the Indominus and the IndoRaptor, the teeth are on the outside, very similar to a crocodile. But the IndoRaptor essentially had very many of the same characteristics that the Indominus had, which was the ability to camouflage. It also had the ability to basically lower its body temperature so that it could not be detected through infrared sensors or even through infrared goggles. It was able to hide. And if this thing was let loose, which, I mean, we saw the end result of what happened when it was let loose in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom at the Manor. Quite an incredible thing. I could not imagine what it would be like getting chased after by this thing, because it's much bigger than a raptor. It's about twice the size of a raptor, but only about half the size of the Indominus, which is, I think, is more terrifying. That's a much scarier proposition, because this is a creature that can fit in hallways. It can run through buildings. You can't hide inside of a building to get away with it. You have to run. This thing will chase you down, and it can, like the raptors, it also has the ability to open doors. It can also open windows. It's basically a hyper-intelligent animal. I mean, much like the Indominus, but just smaller. It's a terrifying prospect, I must say. But here, let's go ahead and put Indo on I have to say his pedestal. I had no clue that the IndoRaptor was actually a male. That's actually a rare thing about the IndoRaptor, that it's actually a male. I had no idea. But once again, I basically did the same sort of ideas that I did with the Indominus. The only thing I did is I just made it a little smaller. The same thing with the hands, the hairs, all those individual spines I basically had to make by hand, and the teeth and everything. It's not quite perfect, but I did try to get it as close as I could. Yeah, a couple of colors blended in there. But I do love that I got the yellow in the eyes. Because the eyes, they're sort of yellow and red. They're almost orange in a way. But the Indominus Rex, its eyes, as you can see here, its eyes are red. And the eyes are more like the Tyrannosaurus, whereas this one are more like the Raptors. Very much more like blue, I will say. But with that, you know what? I'm just going to stop the video there. I'm going to conclude it. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoy content like this, don't forget to leave a like down below. Leave a comment on any sort of requests or anything to do in the future. If you guys want to see more dinosaurs, please let me know. Give me a couple of ideas. I'll definitely put them on the list. There's some that I haven't been able to quite get to yet, but I will get to them in due time. You guys have been giving me requests, and I certainly appreciate it. And if you want to, you can also check out my Instagram page, where I post pictures of these sculptures early, and you can see them when they come. Now, sometimes I can post it early, sometimes I can't. It all depends on my outside of YouTube work schedule. So, once again, go check out my Instagram. It's in a link down below. And you can also check out, I have a paypal.me if you wish to donate directly, and I also have an Etsy store where I sell some handmade pins. It's these 3 pins right here, including my Gargantuan Leviathan pin. I still got a few of these left, so get them while you can. I've had a few people that have purchased them already, and I greatly appreciate all of your support. We're basically cranking our way towards 900 subs, almost to that magic 1,000. We're almost at 1,000 subs, and I will say, when we get to that 1,000, there is going to be an awesome sculpture in the process. Ooh boy, that's going to be awesome when that happens. But it'll come in time. And, well, for those of you who are curious, what I'm going to do for the next premiere, I will be doing 2 sculptures. And there's one I'm going to leave a surprise. But if you want to know what the next one's going to be, I actually got this. This was a request that I had gotten a long ways back from Scully044. He's been an avid watcher and a massive fan of this channel. I thank you, Scully, so much. I know I haven't talked to you in a minute, but I know you're doing well. And this next one is for you. You requested this one directly. You wanted me to make Rathalos from Monster Hunter. Rathalos is coming this week. Or at least coming next week. So stay tuned. There's going to be 2 sculptures. One is a surprise, and the other one is going to be Rathalos. So stay tuned for that. And thank you all so much for watching these videos. And I will see you this next coming week for the next Saturday Sculpture Showcases.